Hey, 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 Dr. Joe from Atlanta. Welcome to Your Wellness for Life. Welcome to New Year's Eve, December 31st. We're down to the last, under 3 hours left in 2020. Put that sucker into the rearview mirror and let's ring in 2021. So, not much longer. And those of you who are already kind of sleepy, passing out, will wake up tomorrow. It'll be 2021. So, hope you had a good day today, the last day in 2021, the last day in 2020, first day in 2021 tomorrow. So, what I wanted to talk today about was perfectionism. Actually, the bigger theme is procrastination. And actually, read a piece by Dr. Elizabeth Lombardo, PhD, who came up with 11 ways to overcome procrastination. Now, that's a big topic, and I decided to kind of split it up into two. We'll focus on just the perfectionism part, and then we'll tackle the other 10 tomorrow. How about that? So, and then I'll give you a few examples of perfectionism that you can kind of relate to, especially the first one. So, many people that are perfectionists end up procrastinating, and when you procrastinate you just never get started. You it leads to inaction. And I'm a Virgo, and I think Virgos are genetically programmed to be perfectionists. Some say we are a pain in the ass, that we're kind of difficult because we insist on perfectionism, and that has its good parts and its bad parts to it. But anyway, according to Dr. Lombardo, perfectionism is an all or nothing mentality. Something is either perfect or it's a failure. People with perfectionistic tendencies tend to wait until things are perfect in order to proceed. So if it's not perfect, you cannot be finished. Or if it's not the perfect time, you believe you can't start. This all or nothing mentality can hold you back from starting or completing tasks. And we're going to be having a new year here. Many are going to have New Year's resolutions. And usually by about mid-February, most of these resolutions have gone out the window. Top ones are to be healthier, to lose weight, to exercise more, and to tackle your finances. Those are kind of the top 3 or 4 that come up almost every year. So let me give you 3 examples of perfectionism that you can relate to. And unless there are some non-drivers on this show, most of you are adults, and most of you remember when you started driving. One of your parents, or maybe both of them, took you out for the first time. And actually, I was about 10 years old, and my family was visiting some friends of my mom's that had a blueberry farm outside of Chicago. And I was about 10 years old and had this old Impala. So 10 years old, that's about 52 years ago. And they had this open field that had no crops on it. It was kind of flat. And these 2 older boys said, "Hey, we got this Impala, Chevy Impala, and you can just drive around on this field, eat your heart out." So I did that. So I had got my taste of driving at a very young age. And one time my dad actually put me on his lap, and we were on some kind of secondary road, and he let me kind of steer the car. But other than experiences like that, when you get your learner's permit and then your parents take you out to drive and you learn how to drive, um, if you waited to be perfect with your driving, you may never get your license, you may never drive. So many of you all of you can probably relate to that. And it's not about perfectionism, it's really about competence. And a couple other examples would be pilots. So pilots, they learn how to fly, and then you become a co-pilot and you become the main pilot. And as you gain experience, they kind of give you more responsibilities. And you think about pilots that are in the Air Force and in the Navy, they train, but they never, until you kind of get into warfare and combat, you really don't know what that is. So if you waited until you were a perfect pilot in combat, you would never go into combat, and that's just not realistic. Another example would be um, my profession, people that are surgeons that work with their hands. At the end of your training, you've done enough cases to where you are deemed competent and you can be let loose, maybe with some senior partner supervision, kind of holding your hand a little bit as you gain more experience. But again, if you're waiting for perfectionism as a surgeon, you would never step into the operating room until you'd never go because you're just not perfect. So you better not go. That's just not realistic. So it's not about perfectionism. It's really about competence. And so Dr. Lombardo says instead of focusing on being better than perfect, um, focus on being better than perfect. That's what she says. This means to still strive for excellence, or what I like to use is competence, creating excellence or competence, or setting yourself up for excellent conditions, but at the same time, you focus on getting the job done. So that would be a better way to kind of view um, perfectionism. All right, so it is New Year's Eve, and tomorrow we'll talk about 11 ways to overcome procrastination. Tonight we talked about one of them, perfectionism. You want to drop the perfectionism. You want to focus more on competence and excellence. So I wish you all a wonderful New Year's Eve. What's left? We're under 3 hours, and then I'll catch you all tomorrow. And you guys have a blessed night. Get some rest. Dr. Joe from Atlanta. Bye. Oh, I'll see you next year.